friends, welcome to another episode of the Cozy Cottage Crochet Podcast. My name is Hannah, this is Nova, and this is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, sometimes sewing, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. How are you? It has been 3 weeks because last week I could not record a podcast. I did do a vlog that I uploaded on Saturday, I couldn't record a podcast because I had mouth surgery last Monday and my face was all purple and yellow and swollen and smiling kind of didn't feel that good. So I did not record a podcast last week, which means I actually have quite an amount to show you this week. And I'm pretty sure the lights are about to come down because somebody climbed off my lap and is shaking them now. Nova! Wow! Can you say hi to your adoring fans? Can you say hi? We are about 10 minutes away from nap time, and the time change has not been approved by this baby. She does not like it. She has been tired and grouchy every single day this week, even though she's been getting the same amount of sleep. And I tried to prepare by waking her up a half an hour early a couple of days in advance and move the schedule up by half an hour so it wasn't a full hour shift, but it was still a lot. Oh, and she is still grouchy. And she does not want to be on the couch. She wants to shake the lights violently. So we'll see if I can get any more of this intro done. This is what you're here for, right? Real life in the cozy cottage. Actually, she's reading a book on the floor. And by reading, I mean flipping the pages upside down. So if you're looking for me anywhere on the interweb, you can find me as the Cozy Cottage Crochet on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I am the Cozy Cottage on Ravelry. And I do have an email address set up specifically for this podcast. Wow! 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 That is the Cozy Cottage Crochet at gmail.com. That's the best way to get a hold of me, hands down. That means I will be sure to see your request. The Cozy Cottage Crochet at gmail.com. We do have the Love Your Stash Cow going on right now until the end of March. We've got a couple more weeks. The only rule is that it has the yarn or fiber had to have entered your stash before January 1st, 2022. And whips are included because whips are part of your stash. So there's a thread in Ravelry. You can use the Love Your Stash Cow on Instagram, the hashtag, and I will draw some prizes for that in April. And I have completed my goal for the Love Your Stash Cow, which is exciting and mind-blowing, although the project is still not done. Just my one goal of doing something on a project is done. Because it has been 3 weeks, I actually have a fair amount to show you. I have 2 finished objects. One of them is crochet, one of them is knitting. I have worked on a pair of socks in knitting, and I have worked on my Skyrim cardigan. So we have lots and lots to discuss. I'm really excited about it, and Nova is already pulling stuff off the couch from my pile. So you're gonna get a sneak peek of one of the finished objects because it matches the baby. What is it? Are you gonna snuggle it? Snuggle. Nova. Can you say hi? Hi? Can you blow kisses? Can you say banana? Oh, hi and blow kisses. Can you say banana? Na 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 na. Can you say bubble? Bubble. Bubble. That's her new word she learned this week. We have bubble bath, which she adores. A few squirts of in her bath at night, and she has started going into the bathroom and pointing and going bub 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 bub. So pretty cute. Bub bub bub. I'm gonna put this baby to bed, and then hopefully we shall have an entire hour to just chat. So grab your favorite beverage, coffee, tea, water, sparkling water, it doesn't matter. Get something that makes you feel happy in your project, and let's spend some time together. I'm back. The baby has been pacified and her diaper changed, and she's been plopped in her crib. She actually deigned to give me 2 whole minutes of snuggle time before her nap while I was rocking her. The past entire week, she has been, as soon as I sit down in the rocking chair, sitting up and pointing at her crib because she's so tired from the time change. She's currently not sleeping. She's laying on her back, holding her little bunny levy and just doing this, which is not at all creepy to look at in the camera. Just to look over and she's like, so hopefully she goes to sleep and stays asleep for 1 hour so that we can have our chat time. I hope you got your favorite drink. I got a drink that my husband bought me yesterday. It's Liquid Death, which he loves the Liquid Death sparkling water and drinks them all the time. We are like OG fans of Liquid Death, okay? Not since the Super Bowl. We've been drinking this stuff forever. I personally think it's excellent sparkling water. It's literally just water. There's nothing else. But they have flavored ones now. And this is like a berry flavored one. They're like 20 calories. Not that I care about the calories, but if you do. And it's delicious. And I had kind of a hard day yesterday, so he bought me this. But then I didn't want to drink it right before bed because I knew I'd have to get up like 7 times in the middle of the night if I did. So I am saving it for podcasting today. No joke, I recorded that intro of Nova and I like 7 times. Mostly we only got through the first couple of sentences each time because she was like flailing and falling off the couch, and at one point I had her by a leg and she was like hanging sideways off the couch. So, you know, I was like, okay, we're gonna try one more time, and then after your nap I'm just gonna do it by myself. You're not gonna be in the intro. And then she managed it, kind of, but yeah, I don't even remember what I said in the intro now, and that was like 10 minutes ago. But I do have some projects to show you, and I'm going to start with the crochet project because one crochet project that I finished, and I have 3 knitting projects to talk about. And the crochet project is one that I was almost finished with last time. So what I have been doing actually for the last 3 weeks is focusing on kind of one project at a time. So I finished this crochet project by just working on it a little bit every night as I had time. And then I moved on to the next one. I worked on that a little bit every night until it was done. And then I moved on to my Skyrim cardigan. And I've been working on that and nothing else, which is very rare for me. I'm not monogamous at all. But I just kind of felt this need to like get some stuff done. So this is the Belong wrap. It is a collaboration between myself and Eden, who is Eden's Fun Yarn. I will link her stuff down below. In the last episode, I talked about a coupon code, Cozy Cottage, which you will get 20% off if you buy the entire rainbow set. And I'm just going to go over the colorways with you really quickly. So we have red, which is the colorway I'm Loved. We have orange, which is Wildflower. Yellow, which is You're a Star. And then we have green. The colorway is not different, unique. Blue, which is Be Yourself. And I cannot hold them all. I have this little nug of purple left. And the colorway is called Not Alone. So the sample for this pattern is done. Of course, the pattern's not written, and who knows when it's coming out because my life. I talked about that at length in the last episode. But yeah, so it's a wrap. It is called the Belong wrap, and it goes through all the colors of the rainbow. So we have red, and then basically it has textured kind of solid and then some ribbing. So red, orange, yellow. Then it moves into green, and this is where you always save your swatch that you make, because on the last row of the green section, I did have to use part of my swatch because I ran out of yarn. Then blue, and then my favorite, purple. So not only have I finished this, I have blocked it, washed it, blocked it, and woven in all of the ends, etc. So it's really, really long. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get it all at once into the screen. Let's see. Maybe I can do it like this. Oops. So there's the first 3 colors. And there's the second 3. It is a really... I could have more aggressively blocked this and made it much wider. I just didn't. Because I'm in Florida, so it doesn't really need to be that wide. When I stand with it over my shoulders, it goes down past my knees. So the inches are in the pattern. I believe I made it 72 inches long, which is a really good size for a wrap. So yeah, you can totally bundle up in this. I'm just really excited because it's rainbow and it's delightful. And if you're wearing it over your shoulders, it is big enough to kind of what is going on. It is big enough, there, big enough to reach all the way, unless you have very, very long arms, to your elbow, most likely, which is what a wrap should do. It should be that wide, just to wrap around the top of your arms. And then of course you could wear it as a scarf as well, which, I mean, I would never wear it like this because I live in Florida. But if you live in a cold place, you could totally be bundled up in the colors of the rainbow and feel like you belong. And I'm just really, really, really excited about this. Eden's yarn is so beautiful, so much fun to work with, and I am so thrilled. I just love every part of this project, and it was so mindful and relaxing to work on. It just made me feel good all around. So I'm going to set this back here so we can have a background of crochet. I know some of you have bought that yarn already, and I'm excited about that. The pattern, I don't know when the pattern is going to be released. My ideal would be to release it in June during Pride Month, but I truly don't know if that's going to be possible because I have to have some time. I may start to have a little bit of time, which I'll talk about at the end of the podcast episode, but I don't want to bank on it because, you know, just life is so much right now. So that's finished object number 1. It was an absolute pleasure to work with that yarn, and I am thrilled about the finished object. And I actually have this dream of someday when, if you don't know, I'm a pastor of a really small inclusive church in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. And we just rent space on Sunday mornings currently. So we set up and tear down and we do everything on Sunday morning. But eventually our goal is to have a permanent space, whether that's a commercial lease or owning our own space or whatever. But my tiny little dream is to have an office, a little office with this hanging inside, like front and center, so that everyone who walks in knows exactly where we stand, that all people are welcome, all people are accepted and affirmed, and no one will be made to feel less than for any reason. So yeah, that's my dream, is to have this crochet piece on display in my office, my future office someday at all times. So that's finished object number 1. Finished object number 2 is a hat. It is the Muscle Burra hat that I've been working on since before Christmas. No, maybe since January. I've made 2 of them, so this is number 2. This is a gift for someone who lives in a cold place. I don't know, it's still going to be cold, I think, for them for quite a while. So I would have liked to have gotten it to them in January, but again, life. So it was living in one of my favorite project bags of all time. It says Alpaca by Bag, because this is your daily bi-weekly dose of alpaca butt. Could there be anything better? I don't think so. The Muscle Burra hat is a pattern by Isolde Teague, and basically it is a hat that you start from the top. You do increases till you get to a certain size, then you knit a long tube, then you close it up by doing decreases. And so it's a double layer hat because you stuff one end inside the other. The yarn that I am using for this particular hat is Rorschach's Wool Mice. I believe the base is twin, so it's 80% merino, 20% nylon. Maybe the colorway is twin, but I think that that's the base probably. So this is the color. It's this lovely tonal maroon burgundy color, and then I'm holding it double with Ice Yarn's Kid Mohair, which is 30% Kid Mohair, 30% acrylic, 40% nylon. So I thought this was really interesting. You get, how many yards does it say? I don't think it says. Oh yeah, it does. 30 grams, 300 meters in this lace weight yarn. This is how much I have left of this little donut. This is what a full one looks like. And I got 2 hats out of this. 2 hats where I held one strand of this double with fingering weight yarn and made a Muscle Burra hat. So I don't know how much these balls of yarn cost from Ice Yarn, but that is a huge value in my opinion. So yeah, that's pretty great. I got 2 entire hats out of that one ball of Ice Yarn. And this is the hat. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It also has been washed and blacked and all of its ends woven in. And I left it, this is how I blocked it. I just blocked it flat. I left it like this to show you what it looks like. I don't remember which end I started on, but like I said, you start from one side, you do increases, then you go all the way down, just straight stockinette. I want to say I did like 16, I think I was supposed to do for my size, 16.25 inches. I think I ended up doing like 16 and a half because I wasn't paying attention. Who cares? So it's a quarter of an inch longer, and then you close it up. So this is how it works. You pull it apart, kind of find the middle, and you stuff one end inside the other. Just like this. And then you have a double layered hat. Now this is much, much too warm for me to wear in Florida. Like there's no way this will ever get worn unless I do some kind of fancy traveling to Antarctica, probably. So not only is it double layered, it's held double with mohair. So I think you can see the halo on this. It's going to be super duper warm. But I have always wanted to make one of these. And so I made one, loved it. And then I made another one, still love the pattern. It's a fantastic pattern. And when you cuff it like this, it'll keep your ears extra, extra warm. So it's like a really super cute hat. You can cuff it, obviously for extra warmth and to have it fit really snugly, or, whoops, you can not do that and just kind of put it on and it's a slouchy hat. So I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty adorable and I love the color. Maroon is not a color that I typically wear, but I feel like I should. Like there's just that rich, it's so beautiful and so tonal and so lovely. It's a lovely pattern, lovely yarn, lovely hat. I'm very, very, very happy. And it's so mindless. And also closing it up was so much more fun than starting it because all of my cables for my interchangeable knitting needle set were trapped in my Skyrim cardigan. So I had to basically rig one. I didn't have a long enough one to do magic loop. So I rigged a small one and a connector and another small one to do magic loop, and it's so irritating beyond all reason. And then my friend Emmy sent me a 40-inch cable in the size that I needed. She sent me a knitting needle and like the decreases on this flew. It was basically like I was doing socks. I managed to do them, I want to say in one night, all the decreases, which that's a lot of knitting for me. Isn't stockinette like the most satisfying? It just all lines up so perfectly. I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. So that's project number 2. Project number 3 is just a sock. It's the same sock you've seen for months and months. But it's the sock that goes with me on the off chance that I am waiting somewhere. And I was in fact waiting somewhere. And I got a little bit of sock knitting done on this one sock that has been on the go 4 months now. So the yarn that is for this is a Zauberball Crazy. So it's just one long color and it does not repeat. So you have no idea what's coming next, really. And it is a 75% wool, 25% nylon, and I can't find the tag. There it is. The colorway Fleedeldurft. I think that means lilac something. Someone told me what it means. Can't remember. So, yes. The last time, this stitch marker is a lie, by the way, because I didn't move it. But the last time you saw this sock, I was almost done with the heel. So I have finished the heel and then done all of that. Like maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So for the foot, I will need to get 5.5 inches and then I can do my toe decreases. This is a tall sock. I don't typically make tall socks, but I mean, why not? I typically I cast on 64 stitches on 2.25 millimeter Chalgu red lace 9-inch circular needles. That's just me. I know some of y'all love magic loop and some of you love DPNs. DPNs are not for me and I do not love magic loop. The only thing I love about knitting is going around and around in a circle. So if I can't do that, I'm like already slightly irritated by it. But I know for you, some of you just love using DPNs. It's like so intuitive and so delightful. I would stab myself right in the eyeball. I guarantee you. But I do 15 rounds of 2x2 ribbing on pretty much all of my socks. If I'm doing a shorty sock, I will then do 15 rounds of stockinette before I start the heel. If I'm doing a tall sock, for me personally, I will do 6 inches from top to where I start the heel. Then I will do the shadow wrap heel is my current favorite heel. That's from that's from Denise, who is Earth Tones Girl. Her sock exploration shadow wrap heel sock pattern. And then I do 5.5 inches of stockinette for my foot. And I do Mina's rounded toe, Mina, who is the knitting expat, from her 2 at a time sock recipe. So you can see there's a pretty stark line here because the gradation goes through the heel and then does this. That doesn't really bother me. I think it looks fine. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be waiting anywhere in the next 2 weeks, but if I am, you will see some progress on that sock. I may actually pull this sock out tonight because I'm kind of concerned that I'm not running out of projects, but I'm like running out of things that I can pick up and just do. We'll talk about this in a second. Let's talk about the piece de resistance. The goal that I have completed for the Love Your Stash cowl, which if you remember was to finish the body on my Skyrim cardigan, not the arms. I wish the arms were done. No, just the body was my goal for the Love Your Stash cowl of the Skyrim cardigan that I've been working on for like 2 years, 2.5 years now. And I am thrilled beyond reason to say that the body has been finished. And I mean, not just like it's bound off. The body is not on a needle anymore. Can you believe this? I'm literally so excited I could scream. Let's go over it, shall we? Living in this giant bucket bag that my best friend Caitlin made me a long time ago. And it has been living in this bag for a long, long time. I can't even imagine. Like, what am I going to do when this bag no longer has yarn in it? Like, when this project leaves this bag, it will be like the end of a war, that a release of epic proportions, the end of a pregnancy. Like, this bag has only ever pretty much housed this thing, which is crazy. So it is, if I can find the picture, I am making, if you're new around here, the Long Line Cardigan by Hoki Locatelli, who is not only a treasure of a person, but a fantastic pattern designer. And I, in 2020, okay, so it had to be 2020, did the Mission Impossible Mal, which was to pick a pattern that really challenges you. And this pattern, not only I had knit a sweater, the Gramps sweater for my husband, but I had never knit anything in fingering weight yarn like this, and the construction really challenged me as well, because it starts from the back. You start one side, you go like this, then you knit the other way and go like this. Then you knit like some weird shoulder stuff over here. Then you knit 2 fronts, then you knit a back, and then you join under the arms, and then you knit straight down. And I was like, I just took it one step at a time. I was very confused at points. I had to do a lot of YouTubing, and I'm sure I'm going to have to again when I try to pick up this other arm. But look at this. There is a needle attached to the sleeve, but there's no needle attached to the body. So let's talk about the yarn really quickly, because the yarn has been around for so long as well. Here is the needle, proof that it was bound off. The first color, the reason I call this my Skyrim cardigan is because the yarn was dyed by the lovely Leah, who used to be, she used to have a yarn company called Sheep Happens Yarn, and she provided yarn support for 2 of my patterns. And she no longer dyes yarn, unfortunately, but she sent this to me as a birthday present, and I was like blown away, because it's yarn in my favorite color, which is blue, dyed in a gradient, named after cities in Skyrim. The most magical thing of all time. So this is color number 1. This is Solitude. Color number 2 is named Dawn Star, which is another city, of course. Oh no, this is tangled. Do you hear this? Cannot happen. Oh no. Color number 3 is actually attached to the cardigan on the sleeve right now, and that is the color Winter Hold. So I will show you that one in a minute. In fact, I just have to make sure Dawn Star, yes, Winterhold is attached. So Solitude, Dawn Star, Winterhold is attached. Then Morthal. So you can see it's getting darker. There's definitely a big jump if you go here, right? But if you have the one in the middle, it looks just perfect. And all of this is like coming undone. So there's those three. And then we have Windhelm getting darker. White Run is this one. This ball is also getting very, very shaggy. Then we have Riften. And then the final color is the one that I just found off, which is Falkreath, the darkest of them all. So I still have to do all the sleeves. I'm gonna put all these balls back in here before. I need to talk to you about how confused I am about the sleeves, but let's be excited first, shall we? Ta-da! Oh my goodness, look at this. This stitch marker was where I was last time. Right there. I have worked all the way down. So what I had to do was 12 rows of fading in the color, I think, and then 25 rows of the last color. So you can see that this, like, it just goes so well together. So this is like the first color is right here, second color, third color, fourth color, fifth color, sixth color, seventh color, eighth color. And it is done. And I have not tried it on since I bound it off. So let's do that. You can see there's a ball of yarn attached on the inside with a chip clip. Oh. Okay, not really sure how to do this. But I'm gonna try to, without making you seasick, move the camera back and stand. So as you can see, it goes below my butt, pretty much to mid-thigh, goes to like right here. And I can overlap it in the front if I want to, but mostly it's an open cardigan, so it just hangs like this. I have a billion ends, obviously. But I can do this if I want to and kind of close it. I can also kind of pick it up a little bit and make a shawl collar out of it, just like that, and kind of pull it in a little bit more, which I think looks really good. And let me move this back. Whoa! So this sleeve, this is the first sleeve that I've done, and it fits perfectly. So this is where my shoulder is, my shoulder ends, and this is where the shoulder seam stops. So the actual armhole is pretty large, like maybe too large for me personally, but I don't like a super tight armhole at all. So I'm fine with having the armhole be large because the sleeve actually is still gonna be perfectly fine. I'm gonna take this off so I can show you what I have done. And you would think that I would just pick up from right here and start knitting down the sleeve at this point, but I'm not ready to do that because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to replicate this on the other side or if I'm gonna have to rip it out, because this was before Nova was even born that I did this. So it's been almost a year and a half ago that this sleeve cap was picked up. So she tells you a certain number of stitches to pick up in the pattern for your armhole. I picked up way, way, way more stitches than that. And I think I wrote down, I picked up 131 stitches. And she told me to pick up 97. So 131 minus 97 is roughly 31, 35, 34 extra stitches. So that's a lot, and which means that I need to do 17 decrease rows yeah, see, I don't even understand my notes. I know I wrote them. I basically had a bunch of extra stitches on each side that I then had to decrease out while doing wrap and turns and fading in the second and third colors of yarn. So I know that I did it. I'm just not sure how I did it. And I made myself notes clearly. And I even did all of these calculations of like, here's all, like this might help, I don't know. But I'm not sure what I meant by that. Like I wrote, after the first 2 setup rows, knit 2 together, an arrow, and then SSK, 2P. What does that even mean? And then I understand what I meant on row 3, no decrease. I can understand no decrease. And then it says repeat 1 through 4 17 times. So I don't know, like my ultimate goal would be to have like an hour or two, at least an hour or two of uninterrupted time to go through, pick up 131 stitches around this giant armhole, and then start. Oh, well, now I understand something. This is gonna be the most disjointed explanation ever. So one of my things says here that I picked up 131 stitches total, need to get to 97. But then there's another note that says I have 22 extra stitches each side, which that equals 44. But there's also some stitches on top that are on hold, that have been on hold since the very beginning on this shoulder gusset thing. Oh boy. So I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but really I need like an hour or two of uninterrupted time to see if I can pick them up and start decreasing. And then I just don't even remember, like, I know that I faded it similarly. Like, I assume I did 25 rows and then 12 rows of fade and then 25 rows and then 12 rows of fade, like the rest of the cardigan. But did I? I don't know. So what we have here is what's called a cautious victory. Because this is a huge victory. I cannot believe after all this time, the body of this cardigan is done and bound off. And look at my beautiful bind off, y'all. Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. I banged off with a crochet hook in the same size because I just find that very much easier for me, especially when I'm binding off in pattern. So bind off in pattern means if I had a straight stockinette row, then I would just bind off as if I was knitting every stitch in bind off. But because I was binding off in 2x2 ribbing, what I did was I knit one stitch, like I knit one stitch, and the next stitch I would bind off as if it were a purl stitch. And that kind of just creates this. So it's a little bit tight. I think I probably could have been a little bit looser, but I don't think that will affect the overall cardigan at all. So yeah, I really would like to get this finished. A, because I want to wear it. B, because this has been on the needles for like my whole life now. At least Nova's whole life. And C, because I want to start the last Ray sweater, which is a crochet project. And for some reason, I'm having a mental block starting that sweater because it's also going to take a lot of concentration, I think, while this is in progress. So at the moment, I'm holding off on starting the last Ray sweater until this is done, or maybe just until the sleeves are past the arm holes when I'm just going around and around. Because, so you think like, oh, once you get going around in circles, it'll be really easy, but it's not going to be that easy because I, A, have to keep track of decreases, B, have to keep track of my fade. So I have to do some YouTubing on helical knitting so that I can fade more easily. But I'm still gonna have to be keeping track of decrease rounds and 25 solid rounds in a color and then 12 fade rounds and then 20. This is why this is my Mission Impossible project. So yeah, that project has been getting all of my time, literally all of it, since the muzzle Burra Hat was finished. This is probably 2 straight weeks of work to get that body bound off, but I did it, y'all. Cheers. I'm probably gonna be jumping up and down when that cardigan is finished. This is the longest whip. I was gonna say this is the longest whip I've ever had, but I think that the king size blanket, the king size crochet granny stripe blanket that is on our guest bed is probably longer, although maybe not anymore, because this has been on the go since 2019. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I did get some Happy Mail. I got this. I knew something was coming, I just didn't know what it was, and a lovely person named Robin sent this to me, and she sent it to me because of the name, and it's called Little Nova, and it's a sock set. It is 75% merino, 25% nylon, and it's from Freckled Whimsy Yarns, and it is just the most beautiful, like, oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. It's clearly been reskeined, which I love a fingering weight yarn that has been reskeined. And what I mean by that is when you have yarn, it comes in a big loop. So when you lay it in a pan to dye it, you pour different amounts of dye on different parts or whatever. Then you rinse it and wash it and do all the things. And then you either just twist it back up and put a label on it, or you reskein it, which means it's going around in circles again, which will give you this. You see how all these colors are like this? That's because the colors are no longer in one particular area. So like all the gold would be in one area, all the blue would be in one area if it was not reskeined. So if you see yarn that looks like this, it's been reskeined. And I just love how that looks. I instantly was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be my next pair of socks for sure. But now I'm like really hesitant because it's so beautiful. I kind of have this vague idea of some kind of little shawlette or cowl in this. So I don't think I can make socks out of this quite yet. I think I have to sit on this and ruminate on it because it's just beautiful. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. So yeah, adorable. Thank you so much, Robin. It was really, really lovely, and I am going to definitely treasure this. The other thing that came in the mail was something that I purchased, and y'all have heard me many times go on about Slip Stitch Studios and their wonderful, wonderful, wonderful sock bags. And a couple of episodes ago, I was dejected, like utterly dejected, because they are closing their bag making operation. It's just not sustainable for them anymore. And I was like heartbroken about this because my 2 Slip Stitch Studio sock bags have been everywhere with me, and I can't imagine life without them. So I like frantically went on their website, and they had like 3 bags left. And I bought one, and this was like a month or 2 ago. And it was like a blue bag with a polar bear on it. It's not really my style, but I was like, what if something happens to my bag? Then I'll never, ever be able to get another one. So they're clearing out their inventory and their like stash inventory of fabrics and things. So they have been putting up a couple extra bags, and I get like their text messages. And I signed up for their text messages just in case there was one that I could like grab, because they're never going to be available again once they're done with this process, and like hurts my heart. So I managed to snag one that is so cute and meaningful to me. And that means that now I don't necessarily need this blue polar bear one. So I'm going to do a random giveaway in my Patreon. I'm just going to do a random number generator, select a random person, and then mail that bag to them so I can spread the warmth, because I don't need it. I don't want to be greedy. Like, I'm not going to hoard the Slip Stitch Studios bags. But they had an update with Winnie the Pooh fabric. If you don't know this about me, Winnie the Pooh is one of my favorite childhood shows of all time. I love Winnie the Pooh. I love Eeyore. I used to have Eeyore stuffed animals. Even like in college, I had Eeyore stuffed animals. I love Tigger. I love The Message. I love the new Winnie the Pooh movie. Like, it's so good. I love the books. I can't wait till we read them together with Nova. And so they had a Winnie the Pooh tiny update. And because I got the text messages, I got it. Nova happened to be sleeping. I went on their website and I immediately was like, I must buy this. And literally, I checked out immediately. And there was one more bag that I was like, I don't know. It's probably too much money, but like, let me think about it for 20 minutes and come back. And if it's still there, we'll see if it's meant to be. And it was not. Like, every single thing in the shop was sold out. So I'm really glad I snagged this when I did. And it's an Eeyore bag. Oh my God. I love it. So this is probably going to stay in its plastic, to be honest, until such a time as one of my other sock bags, either the unicorn bag or the popsicle bag that Claudia of Crochet Luna got me, dies. And then this one will be brought out. So It's the perfect size for a sock project. It has a drawstring, has a really sturdy handle, and then on the inside it has 2 pockets. And I love this bag so much. And they also had one that's Winnie the Pooh and his honey bears. Oh, it's so perfect. So yes, I will be giving away the polar bear one because it's an excellent, excellent bag. Also very adorable. But this really fits more my aesthetic. And I'm really glad just to have this. I say that it's going to sit in plastic, but I don't necessarily want it to sit. Maybe I'll like shrink wrap it or something. Like I don't want it to like never be used and gather dust. And honestly, if something were to happen to one of my other sock bags, then I would try to mend it if possible so that it could even last longer. So yeah, I just love Eeyore. What's your favorite Winnie the Pooh character? Mine is a toss-up between Eeyore and Tigger. I do love Tigger. So if Slip Stitch Studios bags are your jam, or you would like to snag one, you can go on their website and like sign up for text messages, and that's probably the only way you're gonna get one, because they are dropping like flies. Because people know they're not gonna be able to get them anymore, and it's just heartbreaking. I want them to be around forever because it's such a quality, amazing product. So, are any of y'all, well, not all of you are in the US, but we had the time change. We sprung forward an hour on Sunday morning. I've been so tired all week. So tired. And I'm tired right now. It is my day off. I don't feel like I had so much to tell you. And now my brain is blank. I did have mouth surgery last week on Monday, which is why, of course, I didn't podcast. It was actually super intense. I almost would have preferred to be knocked out for it, I think. Like, I felt like they were like pulling my jaw off, and I had 9 stitches. So like all, like from here all the way down and then sideways underneath my gums. They basically like, sorry if you get squeamish, they basically like pulled my gum off, and then like the 4 little points that are under your tooth, they filed them a little bit so that they're not so sharp, and took out a little bit of the gum tissue underneath the tooth so that it has room to move. And I had that surgery done, drove myself home. I had to go to Publix, which is a grocery store, to get my prescriptions filled because I had to take antibiotics, and they gave me some pain medication, which took like an hour. And by the time I got home, I was like so dead. Pretty much last Tuesday, I asked my husband to take a day off of work, and I spent the entire day in bed. Like, I got up to hang out with Nova a little bit, and I ate, well, I didn't really eat, I ate some yogurt, but like I hung out with her a little bit and like drank some water, and then pretty much slept all day and all night. And then Wednesday that week was not fun in any way, shape, or form because my husband was back at work, and really probably I needed 2 days to recover, but just couldn't work that out. So slowly, I would say by Thursday I was feeling better, and then Friday I felt a lot better. I still had a bruise here on my chin until Monday this week. So yeah, it was a pretty intense surgery. But I went for my post-op check Tuesday, and he said everything was looking really, really good. All of my stitches are dissolved, and he said I could go ahead and try to start eating soft foods on that side of my face, which I have not eaten anything on that side of my face since before Nova was born. So at least 1.5 years I've been having problems with this tooth. And that night, Tuesday night, or maybe it was Wednesday night, I ate like some rice and beans on that side, and it didn't hurt. So I was so nervous about doing it because like for 1.5 years I have not been putting food on that side of my face, so it's really hard for me to like put food over there to begin with, and B, like if there was like very gingerly closing my teeth because it was painful. And so like I was eating the rice and beans like so nervously, but it didn't hurt. So I'm gonna try again, see if I can maybe eat some food. He said the tooth itself should be okay. Like obviously my gums are still going to be healing for a little while, and then down here in my jaw, that will take probably like 4 months to completely heal. But I should be able to eat regularly, and probably in a couple of weeks eat regularly on that side and like floss regularly without hurting the gum tissue. So right now I have like a rinse that I have to use. So yeah, this is kind of crazy. Crazy situation. But hopefully it's done, because I don't know what the next step is if this doesn't work. I don't even want to think about that. So yeah, I had mouth surgery. That was very intense. And then just working and having a baby and doing all the things. That's all I seem to do these days, is all the things. I'm like definitely PMSing this week. So my emotional stability is lower for sure. Or my emotional threshold rather. But for the last 2 nights, right after dinner, Josiah has taken Nova to the park or out in the back to her sandbox. And I have gone for a walk, like a 30-minute, 40-minute walk. It just made me feel like so much better. It's almost like a lunch break. You just have like decompression time. There is a lady who lives 5 houses down around the corner from me, who, I talked about this in the vlog, but she babysits kids, and I've always seen her in the neighborhood pushing this one particular kid in a stroller, but I just thought it was her grandson. But it's not. She babysits, and her prices are still like too much for us. However, I did talk to her about potentially watching Nova for maybe like 3 hours a day, either Monday and Wednesday or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if we can afford that, in between her naps. So she currently still takes 2 naps. We could probably revisit that conversation once she's down to 1 nap. Maybe she could do like 3 hours in the morning or 3 hours in the afternoon. She gave me a little bit of paperwork to fill out, and then she was going to think about what she would charge for that, because she does charge by the week or by the day, but not necessarily by the hour. I haven't made it back over to her house because this week has been crazy, to kind of sit down with her again and talk to her about it. I'm sure Nova, I don't know, Nova has some pretty intense separation anxiety. So I'm sure it would be a pretty rough transition. Like maybe I would leave her for 1 hour the first day, and we'll hopefully get text messages like if she's calmed down, or because I don't want her to cry for 3 straight hours. Like, I don't think that's good for her. I don't think that's good for me. And if I know everyone's like, just rip the Band-Aid off. She'll adjust, she'll be fine. But like, I have to do what I think is right for my baby and for my family. And maybe that's coddling her too much, but I honestly don't care, because I can tell you, especially when she was younger, that she would cry the whole time. And I don't think that's good for her. Like, to be in this state of like panic and afraid and so upset for that length of time. So she's older now, and she now only cries for like a minute when we drop her off in the church nursery. She's very comfortable there. So I think that it will probably be a lot better. But if she texts me and she's like, she's been crying for 45 minutes straight, I'm gonna go get her. And then we'll try to like build up her tolerance, you know? All of this depends on if we can afford what she charges. But she has been babysitting for 30 years, since her own kids were born. And she has a son and a daughter who are like 30 and 28 now. So I feel pretty comfortable with her. And she has a 16-month-old that she watches, or maybe 16 months, like 1 month older than Nova, and 2 7-month-olds. So it would be good for Nova, I think, and it would be delightful for me to have a couple of hours every week, even if it was only 2 days a week, if that's all we could afford, was like 3 hours on Monday and 3 hours on Wednesday to myself, like where I could actually get focused work done. And even like, it would basically be her nap time for an hour. I could work, get her up, give her a snack, walk her over for 3 hours, go get her, put her back to sleep. That's like a lot of time. That's more time than I've had in a year and 3 months. So I have a lot of anxiety about it, and I'm very like nervous about it, but I know that's normal. So I have to get back over there. I probably won't make it over there until Monday. But yeah, I'm kind of hopeful, cautiously optimistic that I can work something out with this person that we could fit into our budget, and then maybe I could get like actual uninterrupted work time, which I think would make me, oh God, I'm gonna cry just thinking about it. I think it would make me so much less stressed out and on edge. And I've known that the whole time. Like if we just had some form of childcare, my life would be so much easier. And I don't want to like hang my hat on that. Like everything will be fixed. I'll never be stressed out again. I know that that's not true. But the constant pressure of like, I can't get anything done is very wearing. This might sound really weird and maybe bad, but I don't mean it in a bad way. I think that there's a lot of people who are like, well, once you have a kid, your true calling is to be a parent. And I think there is some truth to that. Like, it is the most important thing that I'm doing. But I don't know that it's necessarily my true calling, in the sense that, like, I thought I would be, like, if I could, like a super great stay-at-home mom, which I can't. I mean, I work full-time. But that's not what I want. And I love having her around me. It's not that I don't want to be around her. It's that I think I need more than that. And it's okay to need more than that. Like my work as a pastor, like meeting with people and writing and like that really fills me up. Sometimes it's exhausting, like any job, but like it really like is meaningful to me and is my true calling in a sense. Like I think that that's what I was built to do. I was not built necessarily to be a stay-at-home mom, which is fine. That's fine. That's totally fine. Except that I am both a stay-at-home mom and a working mom, and that's very hard. And I love being with Nova more than anything in the world. So it's not like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, other than my work fulfills me on a level that I don't get by being around a baby all day. And my baby fulfills me on a level that I don't get from working all day. So I need a blend of both. But that's where the issue has arisen, because there isn't a blend. It's all on one side. So we'll see. Oh my God. You know, like when you're trying not to cry and your throat hurts because you're trying to swallow your emotions? Let's just have some water. So yeah, fingers crossed, I can work something out with this person. And I know that even if I'm like the most anxious person on the planet, it will be fine. We'll handle it. It'll be fine. I know that I can handle that with no problem. Well, maybe some problem, but I know that we can get through that together. It's just a question of financially if it's possible. So, yeah, that was a lot. It's a lot. It's my day off, technically. The baby is sleeping. It's 10 a.m. I've got to finish this, put everything away, and make her a snack really quick. And then her and I usually try to go somewhere cheap for lunch on Thursday afternoons, just to have a Mommy Nova date, which would be really delightful. So I don't know where we're going today, but somewhere. Maybe we'll go to Joann's. I kind of want to just go to Joann Fabrics. It's like a big box craft store, and just walk around. And I know she'll be like, wow, wow, wow. She just loves to look at all the things and like touch everything. I'm not one of those parents who like don't let their kids touch stuff. We have just worked with her really a lot to be like, it stays on the shelf. Like you can touch whatever you want, but it stays on the shelf. And every once in a while, I'll let her pick up one thing like a plushie or something. And I've kind of worked with her, like you can play with it, but it stays here. So before we leave, we go put it back. And sometimes that works. And sometimes there's tears. But we're trying to like build that habit, because I don't want her to not be able to touch everything. Like if it's breakable, obviously I won't let her touch it, but like, I don't get it. Like people who are like, don't touch that to your kids. Like that's how she's learning. Like she's exploring texture and color and like, wow, this feels this feels cold and this feels hard. And like, I just watch her little brain working, and it's the coolest thing. So I always love to let her touch everything that she possibly can. And she loves it too. So probably we're gonna go to Joann's and touch stuff. Classy. And then, I don't know, we may end up at Chick-fil-A because there's one right across the parking lot. And putting her in a car to go somewhere else is usually not a good idea. So she's been having such a hard time with the car this week. Oh my God. She's had a hard time with the car since she was born. But this week, she has screamed, like, in a way that she has not screamed in a couple of months. Like, truly lost it in the car. And I can't, like, when she's 2, we can turn her around. And then hopefully it'll get a little bit better. But maybe not, I don't know. So yeah, I have to end it here because the time is ticking and I've got to wake the baby up in a little bit. But I hope this rambliness helped you relax a little bit, gave you a little decompression time, gave you a lunch break or a knitting break. And leave a comment below. Let me know what you're working on. I know I'm like terribly behind on responding to comments, but I promise I read every single one. And like, I so appreciate you being here. And I will see you in 2 weeks on Saturday morning. You can like this video if you found it helpful or meaningful or gave you a smile today. You can give it a thumbs up, or you can hit subscribe, and then you'll be notified in 2 weeks when the new episode pops on to this channel. So until I see you again, happy crafting and happy March. Be kind to yourself, friends. Bye.